How do you encourage someone when they say they are depressed, when they may not have some of the classic signs of depression? I believe they may be in more of a funk than depression. Very, very good question, Phil Fox. The biggest thing is finding out what they're depressed about. I do this all the time with my clients. I say that you can discover the discovery is in the specifics. All right, the discovery is in the specifics, because what happens is I give my clients an analogy. I say, essentially what I'm doing as your therapist, I'm trying to shoot the target. All right, so I need you as a client to give me specifics, because if you're giving me so many generalities of, yeah, I have an addiction. Okay, what kind of addiction? I have a porn addiction. Okay, what kind of porn addiction? Make it specific. Give me times that you have done it. How many times have you done it this week? What stimulates you from using pornography or marijuana or drugs or opioids, whatever it is? Hone it down and make it more specific, because what happens is, me as a therapist, I'm trying to shoot the target, so I'm pulling a bow from my quiver. I'm I'm taking it back in the arrow, and I'm like, okay, wait, I need some help here. Okay, stop, wait a minute, make it more specific. And the more specific you make, the more I can just stabilize my hand and then shoot it and hit the target. And that's when I do that, I'm helping my clients hit the target. All right, and that's how you should do it when it comes to something as serious as depression. What do you mean depressed? What does depression look like to you? Give me some reasons why you feel like you're depressed. Get the specifics out from them to see if it's depression or not. And to see if it's depression or not, like you said, it can be in a funk. So people can be heavily stressed and not necessarily depressed. Depression is more of a state or a condition. Stress is more of a happening. It's more of a occurrence type of deal. Like, I can be stressed out about an upcoming test. I can be stressed out about the way my kids are treating me. Those are stress. So depression actually comes from, you have a fear response that hits your brain, and then out of the fear response, what happens is you actually have the reaction to that fear response is anxiety. All right, so anxiety is placing a negative stamp on a future occurrence. And so what happens from the response of the anxiety is depression. Depression is, I'm feeling so overwhelmed. How I teach this to my clients is, essentially what happens when it comes to depression is losing a sense of control on something. And so when you lose a sense of control on something, it's usually so you have control as like the anchor. All right, so control is the anchor, and typically the reactions to losing control is depression, panic, violence, addiction. All right, depression, panic, violence, addiction. That's losing control. All right, depression, panic, violence, addiction. All right. So what happens is, once you lose control, say for instance, you knew about a particular way to work and you were walking to work, all right, and you had a friend that says, hey, listen, this isn't, Phil Fox, this isn't the way, you shouldn't go here, because you know that every single day you're walking into quicksand. All right, you're walking, but you don't want to lose control. All right, and because you know this way and you don't want to lose control, what happens is that this is the way that you're used to, and you're getting anxious because you're thinking like, okay, there's a better way, but at the same time, I might, wonder if it causes me to be late at work because I get lost. I wonder if it's somewhere that's not really as much walking distance as I'm used to. So that's anxiety. So you're putting a bunch of negative stamps on a future occurrence that you have zero clue of how it's going to turn out because it's in the future. You can't jump in the future and then jump back to know how something will pan out. You can have foresight, and it's good to have foresight, but you don't know 100% of how something's going to pan out because you haven't experienced it yet. And so even if you mapped it out, I mean, you plan on driving to work and then there's an accident and you didn't map that out, but hey, I mean, you didn't know that, you know what I mean? Otherwise you would have maybe taken a different route. And so putting a bunch of anxiety on a particular situation, putting a bunch of negative stamps on a particular situation is anxiety. All right, so what happens is you walk into the quicksand. You're like, okay, here we go again. Here comes the road again. You walk into the quicksand and then you're losing control. And then you have 4 responses. You have panic, which basically says, oh my goodness, like, I can't believe that's when you're flailing. Oh my gosh, there's quicksand again. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've done this to myself. Quicksand again. How do I get out? Oh my gosh, where's the stability? How do I get out of this? All right. There's addiction, which is okay. So since I know that I'm going to continue to go in this quicksand, I'm going to mitigate the anxiety by consuming things, right? I'm going to have pornographic images in my mind, or somehow put my phone up while I'm going down a quicksand and have some escapism and watch porn, or I got some pills on my, I'm going to consume some pills. I'm going to, I'm going to consume some food. I mean, even, people can be addicted to food. Unhealthily. So any type of addiction to mitigate the process of you draining in quicksand is the addiction part. Then you have the violence part, which is, someone saying, you know what, either one, I'm going down this quicksand and someone's going down swing, so I'm going to pull someone with me. If I'm going down, you're going down too. So if someone's trying to help me, I'm going to pull you down. I'm going to put you down with me. Or they can be like, you know what, guess what? I'm going to, as soon as I get out this quicksand, I'm so mad at this that someone's going to know about it. So that's where the violence comes in, because again, you're losing control. Or the other option is depression. All right. And so what happens with depression is someone's like, oh my gosh, I'm going down this quicksand. There's nothing else to do. I'm going down deeper. I feel so overwhelmed. I'm just losing control. I'm losing it. There's nothing else to do. And so that's when someone continues to go deeper into a state of depression. They could have had in mind at first, I want to get out of this quicksand. But at the same time, in their head, they continue to drown in the quicksand, because in their mind, they're continuing to tell themselves how they can't get out of it. And so that's what happens when people feel overwhelmed and they continue to go deeper and deeper into quicksand. And in their head, they're like, I can't get out of here, man. There's nothing that I can do to get out this quicksand. I should have taken that route that the other person, and this as my hands, that person continue to go deeper and deeper. Yeah, I should have taken that strategy. I should have taken that route that my friend said. I'm such an idiot for not doing that. I'm just this is the reason why people don't like me, anyways, because I'm so stubborn, and people never ever tell me anything anymore, because I'm just so stubborn and I don't listen to people, and I get myself in these binds again. And you just can't. And the more you get deeper in that quicksand, the more you keep beating on yourself, because there's no one who can see me anymore. As my head continues to go deeper and deeper into this quicksand, no one can see me. I'm in an island by myself because the quicksand is continuing to go further and further up, further and further up. No one sees me, no one sees me, no one sees me, no one sees me. And then say for instance, there's quicksand there, and in your head you're like, there's clearly no one sees me now. And so that's where suicide comes in. And so what you do as someone in that state of someone observing that, you got to do, well, you can choose to do, you don't have to do it, but I'd imagine if it's a friend or a loved one, you would want to do it. You got to get that person out of feeling that they're alone in their state of drowning or sinking in that quicksand. All right, that's how you help someone out of depression, because in their head, the further they go down, the further the quicksand goes up in their head. The further that happens in their mind, the further they're thinking in their head, I'm useless. There's no need to do. And some people can do it very in a way that doesn't even require a lot of talking. You wonder why a lot of pastors commit suicide, unfortunately. It's because they've caught themselves in that quicksand state, and no one knows about it because they know how to talk right. They know how to. They still know how. They still have the gift of gab. They know how to go through the motions. When psychologically, that quicksand is just like this, and they're too afraid to tell someone. They're too proud a lot of times to tell someone, oh man, but I wonder how people will feel about this. I wonder how people will feel about my status as a pastor. I wonder how people will feel about me being just a normal person who deals with stuff like everybody else does. I wonder. And then boom, they're still having those thoughts of, again, the further you go down, the more you're useless to yourself. The more people don't care. They're not listening to me. They don't know about it. I'm useless. There's nothing that nobody can do. There's no one that can see me. Those are the moments where people get deeper and deeper and deeper into that state. And so it's important as someone who's a companion who helps them in that state, is to get into the point of like, listen, you got to get out of it. We got to see where you are right now. Listen, you ain't got to do a whole lot right now. All right, let's start off with me reaching my hand out to you. Only thing you need to do right now is to pull your hand out, put your hand up and out, and allow me to pull you out of this right now. All right, we'll figure out the cleaning part after you get out the quicksand. All right, let's start with me getting you out of the quicksand. If someone's drowning in mud, you don't focus on you don't pull them out and they're automatically cleaned up. Does that make sense? You don't pull them out of the quicksand, or you don't pull them out of the mud and they're automatically cleaned out. If someone's drowning, you don't pull them out of the pool and they're automatically dry. There's a process to drying someone up, to cleaning someone up. Let's focus right now to just pulling you from the mud, pulling you from the quicksand, and then sitting you in a specific place. And now after that point, we can work on drying you up, because sometimes people get so overwhelmed about the cleaning up process too that they're like, man, I might be better drowning in the water. I might be better sinking in the sand. I might be better getting muddy and staying muddy, because I'm again, anxiety, a negative stamp on the future occurrence. Man, when you pull me out of here, then I got to clean myself up again. No, don't worry about that. Let me just pull you out real quick, and let's focus on that one thing at a time. All right, let's reduce the anxiety by compartmentalizing and saying, for now, let me allow me to help you get out of where you are right now. Let's get some coffee. Let me be an ear to you. vent away. What are you thinking in your head? Just express that to me. What exactly are you thinking? And the more that person's willing to express those things, the more that they're willing to say, okay, well, let me get out of this quicksand right now, and let me get to the point of, okay, I just need help. I just need help to get out this quicksand, this mud, this water, whatever. Just I'm humble enough to extend my hand to say, all right, I need help. I need help. And you as that person, how do you encourage someone? You ask, you nudge that person. Like, look, listen, Phil Fox. If you were that person needing some help, Phil Fox, I love you, man. Let me help. Just extend your hand. Let's figure out everything else later. Just give me your hand, man. You know how much I care about you. You're so important to me, Phil Fox. Just give me your hand, man. Just extend your hand out, and we'll figure out everything else later. All right? And as soon as you get them out of that state, when they get back to the part that they're on ground, then let's focus on the cleaning part. All right, let's focus on the cleaning process. Step by step by step by step. All right. A lot of people go into someone who's depressed and be like, well, you shouldn't have done that in the first place. It's like, now some people do like that militant approach, to get out of their funk or get out of their even deeper, to get out of their depression. Some people like that militant approach, like, you know what, that was a wake-up call to me. You got to be wise, though, of knowing who you are talking to. There's not a unilateral approach when it comes to that. Some people are super sensitive when it comes to, that type of challenging. And so you have to be mindful of who you're talking to. I would say in the cleaning up process is when the more harder challenging comes in. But if someone's so far in a deep state of depression, you got to be really, really mindful of of how you pull someone out of the quicksand. All right, because essentially someone can be like, "Ow, wow, that was a big yank, man. Maybe you shouldn't pull my arm. Maybe you shouldn't pull me at all because my arm is hurting more than just drowning right now." And they try to justify that stuff in their minds. Man, my hand, like you just messed up my wrist. Essentially, it don't matter how you pull someone out the fire, you know what I mean? Or it don't matter how you tell someone to get out the fire. Getting out the fire is the most important part. If you say, hey, can you please, get out the fire, or get out this fire now? That don't really mean nothing. Getting out the fire is most important. But at the same time, you still have to be mindful of the approach to some people to eventually get to the point of like, all right, listen, Phil Fox, this has happened way too many times, man. We got to get out of this quicksand. Let me tell you, bro, do not walk that way again, because every single time, and I love you as a brother, every single time that has caused you to feel in this state, when you go down that route, dude, don't do it again. And if you feel impressed to do it, let me know, because I will challenge you and tell you not to do it again. I care for you enough to not allow you to go back in that quicksand, because this continues to happen to you, man. So that's what you need to do. All right. Hope that helped.